It might help if I unmute my mic. Hello, everybody. Okay, so we're back at the melt builder, the date picker builder. What's up, Mike? Michael? Don't know if you go by Mike or not, but okay, let's get into it. I'm not going to be able to stream for that long today. Probably only like 2 hours at most. I switched to Arc as my browser this morning, so I'm still kind of getting used to it, but depends if you're angry at me or not. Yeah, that's how I know if someone's angry, how they pronounce the T in my name. How harshly they pronounce the T. If it's like Hunter, or if it's just Hunter. So yeah, I started using Arc today. It's pretty awesome so far. I like how I can have like the different spaces. It's pretty nice. It's cleaner. I'm still getting used to some of the shortcuts. I'm pretty sure it's like Command Shift J is, nope. What is the dev tools? How do I open up the dev tools? I know when I'm on like this server here, it shows. Oh, Command Alt J. Command Alt J. Okay, cool. We got that. Anyways, back to our day picker. So where we left off, we were at we had disabled ranges. Okay, so this is still having an issue, it looks like. Thought I fixed that yesterday. Okay, maybe that's where I left off actually. So I guess by default here, we're selecting the 12th through the 16th, and 3 of those dates are disabled. And if I look at code here for that page, okay, some weird's happening here already, but this song's a bit too intense. I can't think right now. It's okay once I'm like in it, you know? Also, let me know if the music's too loud or if it's too low or whatever. I feel so bad for you, Lake. No, I don't mind Firefox. They're just really slow to like adopt things, and they make your life as a developer more of a pain. Kind of like Safari. Safari, I will say, Safari is the absolute worst. Like Safari just ignores tab like it just ignores tab indexes. That was a surprise to me. I did not know that was the case. Like to actually properly tab around, you have to enable some setting on your Mac, like an accessibility setting. So basically you either use tab or some with focus, right? I don't know if it's tab indexes or focus or what, but there's something weird about it that we had to work around with some of our menus. Okay, so I kind of want to move this. I need to move this out of here. Actually, no, this is fine for now. Actually, I'm gonna move it out. So that way I can just pass the prop down through these different components here and range defaults. I don't like how I can't really tell if like the page is reloaded or not. Oh, it's up there at the top. Okay. Any day now. Did I break something? So maybe by me not setting a default date, I like broke something logic. So that's obviously an issue. Sorry, there's a police car going by. And sorry, I haven't looked at this code all day, so I'm kind of just like gaining my bearings right now. So forgive me. Okay, cool. So I just need to restart my dev server. It's been running for like 4 days straight. Feels like. Okay, so cool. We don't pass the value. Nothing is selected. We pass the default value to the range, and just so happens the value we passed is part of a disabled, or part of that value or that range is disabled. So we need to handle that. And I guess basically what we'll do is we basically need to check, inclusively check the start, end date, all dates in between for any disabled. If there's any disabled in that entire range, then we're not going to, I guess actually we should probably just not select. If there's anything disabled, we should just not select anything. Like that's pretty much like you try to pass in a value that's not even able to be selected. I feel like that's probably the expected behavior, but you can let me know if you think otherwise. Okay. So that's going to be where we set the default value. Well, actually, yeah. So we should probably, yeah, let's just check the default value first before we actually set this here. So, oh, it's is match. Okay, so basically we're gonna yes, we basically execute is match for each of the with the disabled prop that's passed in for all of the default value dates. And if it's true, then we set it to, I guess I should probably just handle this here so I don't clutter up the actually last night I thought of a name for this, but I can't remember what it is now. Whatever. what do I want to call this? Like get default dates. Clean default date. I'll think of a better name for this. Sanitize dates. That sounds like I should be like, I'm doing something else with it. So, just say get default dates for now. We'll figure this out later. When's the bottom sheet coming? Is the bottom sheet not already there? Oh, whoops. Did I break the bottom sheet? Yeah, bottom sheet's here. Or were you talking about something else, Jack? Bottom sheet, top sheet, right sheet, left sheet. You may just have to update your code or your component. Okay. Get default dates. What we're going to do is we're going to take in an array of dates. Basically, we're just going to be able to, the idea here is we're going to be able to pass in the default dates that the developer passes to the builder. And basically just automatically, if the mode is range, then we're going to, yeah, so I guess we have to take some things into account here. So we'll take in the mode, which is, yeah, create date picker prox mode. And then we can also use this for other things as well. Yeah. For now, it's going to be a multiple date, but I want to say that we should probably, this can be a type thing that I'm gonna have to work out, but for, you know, single select, if it's in mode single, it should only be a single date. It shouldn't be an array of dates. That doesn't make sense. So, but we'll handle that later. For now, we're just pretending like everything's an array, and then we'll move that around later on. Oh. Jack, I never volunteered for that one. You gotta talk to Tomas about that. I know he wants to do it too. He wants to do a million things. But yeah, it's certainly possible with the melt builders or even with like the bits stuff as well. It'd probably be better with bits, I would think. Just because it's more, I guess, opinionated. Zebik, that's awesome. Yeah, I'm using Day.js as well. A REST operator? You mean like a ... Yeah, I probably will. But right now, they're going to be passing in. So this isn't going to be consumed by the whoever's using it. It's just going to be used in the create function or in the builder itself. So yeah, I'm using it's smaller and I guess it's newer and so far it's been nice. It has everything we need so far. Because like every time we add a dependency to a builder, like that's not being just used, you know, in our doc site, it gets shipped with your code as well. So we try to keep it as light as possible just to yeah, I haven't seen any reason why we'd use one or the other than the size. Like if there's limitations with DataFNS, or if there's limitations, then I'm not aware of them just yet. Why not make it an optional dependency? Because then we'd have to write the code we have to manually write all the date code internally, and that's what we're trying to avoid. Because that's, Day.js is maintained. Okay, anyways, back to what I was at here. Yo, I don't know what we updated with our ESLint, but that trailing spaces is not allowed, does not happen in any of my other projects. I feel like Ben McCann was doing something with ESLint, if I remember, like using some recommended settings, and I hate that setting. It's fine whenever when I'm actually linting, but when I'm using air lens, it's actually annoying me, but whatevs. So how am I using these again? Let me see. So we have is match. I guess I should just do this here. Hey, watch a lot of tutorials. Just make it dynamic import then. Yeah, not doing that, Maxime, at least not right now. If you want to submit a PR for it, once it's done, you can do so. But yeah, 20 kilobytes is, I would gander that 99.9% of people using it would just prefer to opt into that instead of doing all this stuff themselves. Watch your tutorials, I would like them. One thing. Yeah, okay, exactly. So why do you want to make it an optional dependency? Then we have to conditionally handle things manually. That's like, yeah, we don't have the manpower to handle all that, at least not right now. The thing I always wanted to say though is that sometimes I feel like you're a bit too fast at explaining for rookie programmers. Love though. Yeah, Dark Player, I would agree with that. Yeah, I would say, you know, I have some videos that are like super beginner friendly, but I don't really love making like ultra beginner friendly videos because to me, it's just kind of boring to me. There are people that love to do that. But at least the kind of the style I've been going for lately is just more like I'm expecting you to at least have familiarity. Like you've been through maybe some of my earlier videos and you understand, you've been through the Svelte, learn.svelte.dev. So you understand at a high level the concepts, but you just want to see maybe how to do something specific. And I try to always provide source code too, so you can snoop around after if I gloss over something too quick. But yeah. You could add slashes to make the airlines ready to add code. Yeah, I know, but that's, yeah. Well, I usually do that for, it used to be just, you know, no empty if statements, but like this is really, I might just honestly, where's that rule at? I'm pretty sure there's a, it's got to be this one here. No, it's actually, what is that one? Yes, felt. I'm going to disable that for now. Remind me to undisable it later. Oh, we turned this. Someone manually put this on. I'm gonna probably forget to remove that, so we'll see. I'll catch it later though. Okay. Back to the task at hand here. Nice. This is what I like right here. Okay. I'm always doing this, and I don't want to be yelled at right away. Okay, so if it's mode range, we have to actually do, we need to get the is between inclusive, which I think we already have. Is between inclusive. We have a, or no, maybe we have a get dates or get dates in between. Yeah, get days between. But that's not inclusive. And again, we'll be able to consolidate a lot of these functions. Like some of these are so similar that we could just add like another argument, like inclusive is true or false. But to me, when I try doing that too early, I end up just breaking a lot of things. So what I like to do is just kind of break everything into its own little function and then figure out how we can kind of combine these later on. And then decurrent, I want to do actually, yeah, so decurrent is before dend. I actually want it to be yeah, I think this will take care of that for me. So if days.push, the end. Current should be the start, no? Yeah, current will be the start. Yep. But I'm getting in between. So I'm trying to think if I want to do this like the inclusive. Actually, no, this needs to be start. It's kind of messy, but I think it'll work. I think it'll be fine. What's up, Jaguar? Welcome to the stream. I'll open the bug issue now to remove it. Now, someone manually turned it on. Actually, I want to see who turned that on. It was the person that did the PR to add all these ESLint rules. Like, it's fine. I don't mind it being there for like going through an actual CI step, but we're not gonna add it. We're probably not gonna add a carousel. You could easily add one though using like probably the tabs builder. You could probably implement your own carousel. Yeah, there's been a conversation about that in the Discord. There's a reason for it, but yeah. I thought it was like just determined that carousels are just poor UX like altogether. But I guess if you want to like flip through like some, like if you're looking at like an e-commerce store and you want to flip through different pictures of the thing, maybe. But in that case, it's really like tabs. Like it's basically just like tabs, kind of. Carousels are bad UX and so are accordions. Yeah, I guess I'm referring to carousels in like the page headers, which was like a popular trend a couple years ago, many years ago, I guess now. No one's clicking through all those damn header images, hero images you have. Not a single soul. Yeah, like hero sliders, yeah. Yeah, Jaguar, you should be able to do it with tabs. Like I'm fairly certain. And there's actually, I'm pretty sure there's like a... There's a project here already using it. And there's also this REPL here has a carousel implementation right here that you could use. I'm not going to say it's like to the ARIA spec. I'm not sure if there even is one for carousels, but because I like TypeScript and I don't like JSDoc. Okay, if mode is range, then we need to get all the dates. So I'm just going to pass the start and the end to actually, it's going to be a problem because how I'm handling the default dates right now is if there's just one date passed into a range, that becomes the start and the end. But I don't know if that happens until we actually like render it. Yeah, I'll do more streams, most likely. Yeah, we are going to add JS.doc comments. We're trying to like, we were talking about using something like TS.doc because there's like some pretty cool there might be. We're not gonna actually go full on JS.doc, I don't think. Maybe, I don't know. That's gonna be a Tomas decision there, but I think he likes TypeScript. But we just want it for the comments and then also for like docs. So what is it? ARIA kit, I think is what it is. Yeah, ARIA kit here. This entire site is generated using TS.doc. So like if we go to their components here, like you see how there's a bunch of these links here, and I looked at it, they actually are doing a lot of this stuff manually. Like they're parsing the TS.doc and then they're linking they're using the links to link to different things. So they pretty much have like their own AST script set up, but it's pretty cool. So like here, okay, I can actually see the component. When I click on it, now I'm brought to the component's API reference where I can then see all of its props. And all these comments, everything is populated just from commenting the code, which is nice. And they have something called like API extractor. Yeah, API extractor, which is part of this TS doc. And it basically can like rip out your TS docs into like a JSON file. So yeah, but because right now we're documenting everything manually, which is not only a pain in the ass, but also very prone to like drift. So as we change things, we're not always updating the comments, always updating the docs. So it'd be nice to just have it in one place. Yeah, that is good. That is true. Copilot doesn't do a bad job of it. It's just like sometimes it's just kind of like redundant. It'd be like, this function generates the default dates, gets the default dates. Like, in my opinion, like this is kind of a, again, yeah, the TS doc thing is cool. So we're looking at that. I'm like, there's just a lot of manual things that have to go in. Like, it's not just, I guess, drag and drop, because then it just gives you the raw data, and then you have to figure out, how do I connect the dots? How do I structure this in a way that we can present it in the UI? So yeah, but we definitely want to do that. I want to do that for like all the libraries. Yeah, you have to kind of like smack Copilot around, Jaguar. Like, sometimes it'll just suggest something and instantly I just know it's not okay and I hit escape. And then sometimes I'll read it and I'm like, okay, that kind of makes sense. That might make sense here. I actually haven't had it generate. I've only had Copilot do the JS docs. Like, what is it? The comment code thing or whatever. Okay, so let me finish this really quick. So if it's a single or multiple, we're basically checking through the dates to tell if they're disabled. But if it's a range, then we have to do something different because we have a start and we have an end. But I guess my question was, where do we actually set that? I think we're setting it in the yeah, we're doing this in this effect here. Hey, stop with that noise. My dog makes these nasty noises, man. She's like licking her butt and stuff. It's not appropriate for streams. Okay, so we're saying this here. My concern is that this is not gonna. This up here will run before that runs, and then we can end up with the second or the first index / index 1 of that array being undefined. So I guess I could it's not hurting the stream? Okay, good. pp.js. Exactly. That's what this is. See, like that? I don't want to do that. That's not what I want. I can't name shit. I'm just going to call this handle disabled default range. And then the dates are going to be an array of dates. I'm like kind of screwing myself here, but like they both should never be able to be undefined. Unless there's nothing selected. Sussy dog, yeah, my dog is sus. It's a girl, but I don't think it's acceptable. Man, guys, I need some coffee or something. Hold on, some water. I didn't have time to think about this today. I was really busy. So like I had to start to move the stream back because I didn't finish what I was working on. And so I'm still just trying to think about this. Okay, so they could possibly pass in an undefined, they could possibly pass in nothing, right? And then we're not gonna have anything selected. So really, I wanna kind of handle all of that. So whether they have nothing selected, whether they have any, you know, and then be able to return back like the appropriate value. Which I guess I could of course just check to see if the in the create. So I guess I could handle that here. I just noticed, oh, pp.js. Yeah, that's the preprocessor. That is the preprocessor. Okay, so for this, default value has to be an array of dates if it's anything at all. Okay, but it can be this should be optional. So before we go and set the value store here, we need to do our little checks for disabled and stuff. So we would just do something like sanitized value equals my function default value, right? And then we'd pass that into the value writable. So I guess I could kind of handle all of this shit here, and then we know we always have something good there. So this could be this could possibly be undefined. So I guess I could set up like a if args.value, if array I'll talk a question. You have to know a good Lex or AST and Node that works in any language. What is that one called? What's the one that there's one for Java. There's one for Oh, you mean any language? I don't know about any language. I know that Rich has one. What's the function supposed to do or be used for? Hey, see ya, Michael. Thanks for hanging out. This function, we're basically like, so I guess the issue, let me just explain the issue real quick. I'm just trying to figure out how to handle it, I guess, in the most graceful fashion here, right? Where are we? So right now we have certain dates that are disabled, right? So we're disabling Wednesday through Saturdays or Fridays. I don't remember which day this starts at. Wednesday through, we're disabling 3 days, right? So, but a user could pass in, or a developer, I guess, using the builder could still pass in a default date that could be disabled, right? So if that happens, I don't want this to happen where you have like disabled dates that are selected. I don't know if that's okay or not. Like I would imagine that the default behavior would be to not select these dates. Hardeep, welcome to stream. And welcome as well, Surfing Mind Waves. Hey Hardeep, I can't see your link. It like doesn't share links to me. You can send it to me on Discord. I should probably open up like a links or something. So yeah, like this shouldn't happen. I want to prevent that from happening. I guess like as developers, what would you expect? If you're using a date picker and you pass in like dates that are disabled, in this case, it's actually going to be, we have like these different matcher options, which are basically, so matchers can be any of these things, right? And basically those are ways to match a date. So you can pick your matcher, you choose whatever you want. So for the disabled prop, you pass in a matcher or an array of matchers. And then if any of those, whatever dates that match your matchers, will be disabled, right? But let's say that your default date values that you set are disabled. Do we still just select the dates like we're doing here if I reload the page? Or do we not select anything and say, hey, you pretty much like screwed up there? That's kind of the, I'm imagining you wouldn't want disabled dates to be selected. But then again, I guess I'm thinking like, well, what if you want to forcefully set dates and you want to disable? Yeah, like honestly, designing something for yourself is so much easier than trying to think about the possible use case someone might have. Like, I guess, like maybe we don't do this. I mean, maybe we don't handle this because let's say I have a confirmed appointment and I can't change my appointment, but I can edit other things in the appointment details, right? So it would still show this date picker there, like, hey, your appointment's on the 14th, for example. Let's say it's a single date. It's disabled because you're not able to change the date. But in that case, I don't know, maybe we just disable everything, but then they still have a selected value. I need to think about that one a little bit, actually. What are your all's thoughts on that, on the matter? We talked about that yesterday, Rakuno. I don't think so for this, at least not initially. like our functionality, basically what we're trying to, I guess what I'm trying to accomplish right now is what React Date Picker has. So, and they don't have the time element to it at the moment. I know that could be important and could be an option. But I want to say, like, if you have the date, you can do the time yourself. But because then we're having to think about like all the different times of the day. Yeah, I'm not sure, at least not initially. Okay, Maxime. Yeah, I would agree with you on that one. The more I think about it, I feel like I've 100% seen using some application like dates that are selected but aren't enabled for me to change. And again, really, this is more of like the developer made an error here. Whoever's using this builder made an error with their defaults, if that's not what they intended to do. So in that case, hey, what's up, Charlie? Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. What time is it over there? You're in New Zealand, right? It's like the opposite side of the world, I'm pretty sure. Like opposite time zones. Okay, so maybe we just leave that alone. Maybe we're fine there. 10:18 a.m. So 8 hours. 8 hours difference. I guess it's not as bad as like East Asia is very far. I think it's like 11 hours. Okay. So what do we have? What is next? I know someone mentioned locale. Like, here's the thing though, with React Date Picker, this is like a component, right? So we have to think about it in a slightly different way. Because they're also handling like the appearance of the calendar as well, right? Whereas we're at the primitive level where if we look at the date picker here, like you're able to render out the different things yourself. So like if you want to show a month and a year and a time or whatever, you have the date, you can do whatever you want with it. Now Bits UI will probably end up being like when I do the implementation for Bits, it'll probably be like this, right? Because I have a component, I'm displaying that component in some form or fashion. So there has to be a way to like structure everything. But for the builders themselves, like it's very primitive. So we want to make it, leave it up to you to decide how you want to, I guess, display your dates and things like that. Also, when the user selects a from to range, the selection should be set to the earliest valid date. If I select 5 to 15, it would select 5 to 9. I don't know about that. I don't know about that one. Because that feels like unexpected behavior. Like it feels like I didn't mean to do that, right? So you're saying like if I select 4 to 9, you say it should stop at 5. But the feedback here we'd probably have to set some type of attribute that would indicate they selected an invalid range so that a message could be displayed or something. But here, if I click on 9 and it selects 5, that's not what I wanted it to do. Is it Janisurik? Janisurik? Welcome to the stream. Yeah, it will be possible to display the week from Monday. Yeah, so it'll tell you. It'll try to tell you if you try. Like the idea is to be able to tell you selected an invalid range. But I think by default, just selecting like if I selected 4 through 16, just selecting 4 and 5 would be kind of weird to me. It feels like But yeah, over the past couple of days, we've went through like 50 different ways to handle the range, and everybody has a different opinion. So we're gonna have to make like the different selection strategies, options, so everybody's happy. But yeah, if you look at Airbnb, you look at Material UI, you look at Ant Design, you look at Day Picker, you look at any library, I swear they all do it differently. I could not find like 2 that do it the exact same way, handle ranges the exact same way. With regard to like where you're able to, like what happens if I click now, if I click, actually let me get rid of these disabled ones real quick. I should honestly probably just start writing some tests for some of these things. That way I don't break something I already think I have done with something else. It's probably a good idea. Yeah, exactly, Maxime. That's going to be what we'll do. We'll have some way for the developer to know if an invalid range was selected. Okay, so I think inside of the create date picker here, yeah, so if no default value was provided, then we're going to do that. Ace upon. What up? Okay. Yeah, so like with range right now, the default behavior we're going with, and again, the idea here is we're gonna have selection strategies, which we'll showcase in the docs. You can change the strategy. Hey, surfing. Good night. Thanks for hanging out. Appreciate it. So yeah, there's a bunch of different opinions on, okay, if I select 11, right, and then I select 20, now when I click on 22, what should happen? In my mind, it should go to 22, from 11 to 22, because the likelihood of me just accidentally not selecting the right date by 1 is pretty high. Or I just want to extend it. Okay, boom. Now, how do I break out of this? Well, I click 28 again, or I click any number twice, essentially. If any date receives back-to-back clicks within the range, it's going to reset to start with that date. So here, no, I want to start at 14. Click it again. But then other people have other opinions. So we're going to have a few different strategies to where you can do it one of those ways that you want. Some people think you should be able to go backwards. So if I start here and I go to 14, if I click on 3, they think it should extend on to 3. But yeah, so we're going to have different strategies for that. But right now, this is just like what I'm working with. 100%. Yeah, that's what I determined. I asked the chat like 2 days ago, and if you go back and look at the replay, everybody had a different answer. It was funny. Okay, so what else we got here? Okay, so we could do like a number of months thing. Yeah, so a week starts on, I guess I'm trying to think about like priorities here. Like what is the priority? So we have some basic functionality right now. Like you could use this with a form, and I think it would work. So like, okay, I guess earliest and latest are one things that are going to definitely be something that we're going to handle. Like the earliest possible dates and the latest possible date that the calendar would ever go to. So yeah, from date to date. So this goes to 2015, 1020. Yeah, no, it will be. It'll be an option. That's the thing is like there's like an overwhelming number of options here. So I'm just trying to decide what I want to what's next, right? I'm trying to understand what this is doing though, because like limit navigation with from date to date and from month to month. For example, to limit the calendar between June 2015 and 20th November. But I see the full, I feel like I should only see up to the 20th of November here. Right? That's what this is telling me. At least what it seems like. So it shouldn't even show the 20th through the 21st to the 22nd. So maybe they have a bug here. So yeah, I guess let's do the from. And I really don't know if we even need like a from month or from. I don't think we need to have like a separate from month to month, from date to date, right? If you want it to start at the first of the month, you can do the first of whatever month that you want to start at, and then I guess the last day you have to calculate the last day of that month. So maybe that's why they do it, to make it a bit easier. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so definitely default month. I want to say we're doing like active date for that. But the active date is via navigation. So activate updates as the user navigates. So everybody keep track of like the previous month, next month. So that's important. Default month. This would actually end up being the default month though, or default, month in this case here, rather than being the active date. So let's just do that. So I don't have that already, do I? No. I do have default month. This will be a date, and we'll just get the month from that date. Some of these options I didn't add, by the way, so I didn't start this component from scratch. I picked up on someone else's work, so there's some things in here that I'm not too sure what the intent was, at least not right now, but I've kind of figured things out, and I've changed a lot of stuff. So there may be some duplication here and there, but we'll clean it all up before we ship. So active date, instead of us setting active date here, we probably shouldn't I wonder if active date should be like, if we navigate using the keyboard into the month or into the date picker, it automatically starts off like as we jump down into the calendar, it starts off at that active date. I need to read the ARIA spec for that to see how that's expected to behave. But yeah, let's just do default month and we'll just do today. So by default, it's going to be today as well. And so where are we setting the month? Active date? I think it's in the active date effect. Yeah. Like I didn't write any of this code here, so I'm just trying to understand what it's doing specifically. I know it's populating the dates that are then used to render the calendar, dates in the calendar, but I'm just trying to see what else happening here so I don't break something too crazy. So we're using the active date here. So I want to say we should be probably using I guess I want to understand the intent behind the default or the active date. Like, is it, let me just check something real quick. Yeah, okay, so yeah, that would make sense to me. So when I open it up, it's automatically like focused on that, so I can easily move around. I don't have to start from like nothing, right? That makes sense. Which again, in that case, if you just wanted it to start at a different month, then you would just set it to the first day of that month, right? So like if I wanted to display like some arbitrary month, like your active date also needs to be in the same month that you're displaying. So I don't know if we even have to go through the whole default month thing. Because if I update the default or the active date, I haven't actually tried it yet, Maxime. I will probably maybe this weekend. I imagine it's great though. I just haven't messed around. I know it's like super easy. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Again, like anything that's like innovative, I like bleeding edge. I'm using Copilot. Chill out. Welcome to the stream, by the way. Yeah, I use Copilot. It's actually been pretty good with. It's actually pretty good with dates. I will say, like I'm pretty bad with dates, which is why I was kind of avoiding doing this builder. Like dates in JavaScript are my forte. Day.js makes it easier, of course, and obviously the feedback. But it has actually been good at reading the date, like doing date stuff. much better than other things that we do. Dirt Tim, good evening. Sorry, guys. It depends, Dirt Tim. I'd say like it's nighttime, that's night, but it's technically morning. It could also be technically inferred as morning, right? But yeah, I would say night. Okay, so if I set a different active date prop in one of these things, which really I should just like do, no, it's fine. Create date picker props. What is it? It's a string, I'm pretty sure, right? Oh no, I can just do literally what 1979.8, and then we'll do active date here will be. So I want to see what's going to happen if I don't actually have a date, if I just have like a month and a year. Okay, so it seems to behave as expected. Nice. I actually did something like that, not using MUI, but I did it using Svelte. So I guess like the data table, like data tables are, what is it? Svelte headless table. Like this is a really good library. There are some things that I wish would be addressed. Let me before I contradict myself here, let me just make sure. Yeah, so like I want this. There's a feature I really want that would make it even better. But basically we have to reinvent this. Like this in and of itself is like a whole ass library. Like there's a lot that goes into a data table. And it's already pretty much like a builder pattern. I mean, maybe we could refine it. I'd have to look at it. I know it's complex. And I guess some of the things they're doing is a bit strange, but it's again, like the subscribe thing is basically, I guess like instead of opting into using like a store there, they're using the subscribe, which basically is doing the same thing that we're doing. This is basically how you can do the as like our builder as child stuff without actually having to use the stores and actions. But it kind of, yeah, so this is what I'm using in Shadsi and Svelte, and so far it's good. Again, the thing I'm complaining about is more so just because something is not consistent with the rest of the APIs. More specifically hiding them, you have to like do some weird stuff like where is it? Yeah, so like some of these other plugins, right? You can like sort, filter, things like that. And then what they have is they actually have like a, what is it? Yeah, a sort. Where is it? Yeah, so they have like a toggle function here, right? So when I want to sort by something, I can just call this props.sort.toggle, right? And all the other ones are like that except for hidden. If I want to hide a column, I have to do some like hack. So this is such a garbage example, but basically I'm setting what columns are hideable. So for one, you can't, there's no way to configure the plugin up here where you can like disable hiding for a certain one, which is also an inconsistency with the rest of the plugins. So basically I have to define which ones are hideable if I don't want to have them all be hideable. And then conditionally render those options out, right? Rather than just being able to use the data I already have here and just check, you know, map over it and figure out which ones are hideable. And on top of that, we're doing this weird shit here. Basically, the only way it knows to hide them is if you update this hidden column IDs with the ID. So yeah, it's kind of this is kind of nasty to me. I think this is a terrible developer experience. It's not intuitive. So I proposed like pretty much making it consistent with the rest of them. He said he's going to do it, I think, with the next patch, but other than that, the library is great. The library is great. That's my one gripe. But I won't let that take away from the project as a whole because it's a really good project. It's much better than TanStack table for Svelte. TanStack table for Svelte is like a memory leak waiting to happen. Not really, but it is like it's bad. The docs are so bad. It just wasn't designed for Svelte. It was designed for React. Okay, so what we have here already works. So we can set that, right? I guess maybe I should like start like taking some notes here of like what I actually want to do, which I usually do if I'm not streaming. There's a way I can like do this in here. That's incognito. I don't know what this is. How do I add a note? Control Shift in. Again, they have a Svelte version, but I'm telling you, I've tried it like 3 times. Chris, who created Skeleton UI, also tried it with Skeleton, and we both had pretty much the same experience. Like the documentation is scarce, and the way I couldn't get certain things to render. So like, first of all, here's like the Svelte docs. So you get the Svelte examples, and it has like a code sandbox that opens up, which is kind of tragic. So like this is what happens, but you basically do like these flex render things, and it's fine if you're just doing a table with no components. But when you want to render a component in there, you want to define the component likely up here, and then there's just like no, yeah. I couldn't get it to, it's pretty much working the same way as Svelte Headless Table, except Svelte Headless Table components actually render, whereas these don't. There's, yeah. And there was like a bug that was existing for like 3 months for Svelte, and like no one touched it. So like, I think it's, again, someone probably had the idea to like make it available to Svelte, but they don't actually maintain it. So it's not great. Okay, date picker. What do we want to have? Also, Ajit, I don't know if you noticed, but I got a new browser. After your recommendation, I decided to try it out. So far, so good. So we can already set the default month here. And I want to say we can also change the active month at any given time programmatically. Andy, That's great to hear. Yeah, it is. I agree. I agree. Maybe I'm biased, but I agree. Like, I think honestly, a lot of companies would like to use melts that are building their own internal component libraries because they can really get granular and they have a team to maintain the granularity. So I'm pretty sure already at this point in time with the date picker, we can programmatically like set a different date. So if you wanted to have some other button outside of the date picker itself, you know, change which month is active. I want to say I could just like, we're getting the active date store. So I could just do active date store.set. What is it? And then let's just set one of them to like 2021. Did you guys let me pass 12 as a month for one of these? You did. And then actually just put this here. Update month. Oh, it's refreshing. Yeah, a bit too ambitious. Yeah. What did I do? I don't know why this happens to me in like a lot of my projects. I haven't really tried to investigate why. But does anybody else get this error, cannot subscribe to page store on the server, like kind of often? At least in development, I get them. Yeah, and really like, I think it could be. Oh, why did I import that? That was probably what was messing me up. Okay, so if I hit update month here, you can see it changed to January 2021. So we already have that. That active date thing allows us to do that, which is super cool. Now, a question will be that I can already imagine somebody having is if they programmatically set the selected date, does it also move the month? Does active date stay in sync with selected date? I think it maybe does. Actually, it can't. With our current logic, it can't, because active date is tracking what's visible to the user, not what they have selected. So active date's how, as I click through here, the active date's changing. It's able to generate the days for the next month, previous month, so on and so forth. So that's going to be something to think about here. Because if I had like 14 selected, but I wanted to go and see what the availability was for the, for June, I don't want it to like unselect anything, nor do I want it to. But I think honestly right now this is fine. What we're doing right now is okay. Yeah, I know, it's funny. And then like Bits UI is pretty much, it's funny because Bits UI is like radix svelte essentially. Like I thought about that, like that's literally, it was just missing the builders, which I guess could have been baked in to like the library, like internally to like radix svelte, which is what he was experimenting with when I was talking to him before melt became a thing. But the fact that it was like deviating kind of far from radix, it wasn't like a port really, it was more of like a entirely different way to do things internally. I haven't got shit done today. I don't know why I'm like not on it right now. I had all these exciting plans for things I wanted to do. What do we want to do? It's like what I like to do is when I'm, especially with these builders, like I'll kind of just slap some features in and then So rather than like working, I guess, in a sequential order like a normal human being, and my brain's pretty crazy and goes all over the place. But what I actually realized, it actually ends up helping me, because I end up trying to do things that I want to eventually do. I do them earlier than maybe someone else would. And I discover like a flaw in the logic or a flaw in how we're doing things right now that we have to adjust. And it's much better to do so now than later. Your eyes, what happened? Oh, the brightness. Yeah, I know. I don't have dark reader extension on here yet. So maybe we do cut multiple months, right? Let's try to do multiple months. I think that's reasonable. So I can accomplish something today, so I don't have to archive the stream, so no one wastes their time watching me like mess around. So actually, this is going to be interesting with how the components used, the builder, because if you look right now, we have each last month dates, each dates. But in reality, we would need to like have like an array of arrays essentially. So we'd have like month, right? But then month would end up having like its own dates. It would be an array of dates. It would be an array of days, sorry. So it'd be like 1, 2, 3, so on and so forth. So then you would do each months as month, and then each month as days, and then each days as day. And I think that's how we could do it. Sounds like a timeshare commercial. That's funny. I won't disagree with you that. Andy, I don't think about that really. I think TSJS doc's fine if that's what the team wants to do. I think getting rid of like types in a library altogether is pretty bad if it's a library that's used by other people, but JS doc it doesn't matter to me unless I'm like actively contributing to a project, then has no impact, and there's still types, it has no impact on me. So I don't care what they do internally. Yeah, TS no types is kind of just like, I don't know, doesn't make much sense. But again, I've never even heard of that project that did that, so I'm not losing sleep at night. I don't think it'll be like a trend or anything. So that's actually gonna throw a wrench in things, right? Because if we want to allow it multiple months, we have to like change the structure of the dates. Because right now we're only focused on 1 month. And we have no way to like distinguish between when are we add a new month or not. When really this should probably be like, this entire thing should be wrapped in a in each block for each month as month, each date, yeah. So I guess it would look like each months as month, and then we'd have this. And then we'd have each month as dates. And then, no, I'm sorry. Wait, yeah, actually. Each dates as day. How come you get the month from the date directly? You could, but the problem is that we're rendering on a calendar. So like, if I just give you dates, I guess you have to check each one to say like if. Yeah, I don't know how that would work from like being able to easily render out UI like this. Like right now we're just focused on 1 month, so we can just do each dates as date, as D, and then render them out. But like if we want to know how many months, yeah, you can get the month to display. Like up here, that's what I'm doing, this month year formatter to display the current month, but that's also going to have to be. Actually, this whole component would just get re-rendered. This whole entire component here would be essentially a separate thing. Yeah, this should be a fun thing to solve actually, because we have like the paged. Dogs are acting crazy. Okay, so that's kind of throwing a big wrench in how we're doing things right now, because I think. Don't hold me to it, but I think. Because yeah, this whole logic here is gonna have to probably change. Hey, Thing Coding, thank you. Appreciate that. I'm glad to hear it's saving your life. Okay, so if I pass in multiple months, like instead of this being dates, it's going to end up being like months. And then months would be, I guess, do we get, so in that case then, is month in and of itself a date as well? Or we do like a property, because we can't just, because I guess I'm thinking about it from a perspective of being able to render out, I almost said render out one of these components here. So having the current month, no, you're fine. You don't have to bother me, or you're not bothering me. That's why I stream. Okay, so let me think about how this would look, I guess, from a type. So it would probably just be that we'd have like an array of like a month, right? But a month would look maybe like this. It would be like date, which is like the month, right? Just the month. It's like the first day of the month or something. And then we have dates, which would be an array of dates, which are the days that fall within that month. So then we could have, so like dates would end up being an array of months. Ben, we probably could, but the problem is that, like, yeah, so simply put, yes, we could. There's like a million different ways we could do it, but I want to try to make it as customizable and extendable or whatever as possible, right? So if you want to display the month in some other formats altogether, like instead of having to instantiate, and we're basically using dates everywhere else. So I don't want to add like mix-up APIs where it's like, here's a date, here you might get a number that could represent the day of the week or the month. I just want to give you the date, and then you format it, do whatever you want with it. If you want to put the calendar in reverse, you can put it in reverse. But yeah, I think this is what it's gonna have to look like. Yeah. So This is going to break a lot of things, I think. But I guess, again, this is better to do it now than have to refactor a million other things later. Because I guarantee this will be one of the first issues that gets created if we were to release it without being able to add multiple months is, hey, can I please add multiple months? And then now we have to introduce breaking changes to support it, potentially. Most likely. Now, fortunately, though, I think dates is really only used... Like, we're not actually return... we do return it, but... Okay, now that I think about this, though, do we instead do years? No, there's shit, man. You guys have seen like those big desk calendars. Like this. That's a damn ad. I want images and without going to an ad. Like this thing, right? Let's say that I want to render this on a page and treat it as like a date picker type of thing, right? So I'm starting with like a primitive calendar first, and then we're gonna get to like the actual date picking aspect. But like, should this be possible? And then I guess another step up would be, should it be possible to also do years? So I could have 10 years on the same page. Like, those are the kind of things I'm thinking about right now. It's like, where do we draw the line? Or do we draw a line? Because then we're just gonna have like a... I could do that, but I probably won't, Andres. I just don't like typing JSDoc. That's just a personal thing. I like TypeScript. Even though I hate it sometimes, I like it more than JSDoc. And like, we don't have those same, like, I guess, you know, one of the big things about not doing TypeScript is that when I click on a definition, I can see the source code. I can also debug a bit easier, but we haven't needed that just yet. Oh, here comes Agathon with another wrench or another thing thrown in the mix. Multiple date ranges. Whew. Now you all see what I mean. There's so many things to consider. Oh, there's already date ranges. So like, here's a range. Well, yeah, here's a range. So like, I can do a range, but multiple in the same thing, like, how the hell do we even determine when this one should go away then? Do we have to like... Multiple, so shipping products, think available delivery date ranges. Oh, you mean like just, you mean you would preset different ranges and they would select the range. Yeah, like, so it'd be like, from delivery window A is from the 16th to the 18th, it's going to be $15. Delivery window 25th to the 27th is going to be $30 or $10. Okay, I thought you meant literally having the user like be able to select this range here and then go over here and select another range. I was really wanting to know what the hell that was being used for. But yeah, Agathon, you'll be able to do that because we can already disable range. You can disable. It's basically going to be, it's very extendable right now. What's very, as far as like being able to set specific dates to match for disabling and then potentially selecting them as well. Like there's a lot of options here. Well, he's just talking about for a specific use case. I know where Agathon works, so I can see exactly what he's referring to. Yeah, that should be possible. Now, as far as like, there may be some things, if it's not like out of the box where you can just like click on the different ranges, then it would be something that you could easily add with a couple lines of code. Yeah, it has been a while, man. I hope you've been well as well. I have been. I'm doing great. I'm just trying to accomplish something today, and I'm kind of struggling right now. So back to this. What's the consensus on this? I think Date Picker draws the line on like, but again, I guess you have to think about it, I guess, slightly differently than Date Picker, because Date Picker is a component, just a counter component that has this logic, whereas we're, you know, building a builder here. So, and I want to, I guess, come to this consensus before we get too far ahead, because if it is a requested feature and it has enough desire, then it would probably have, you know, force us to implement some breaking changes to support it. But for me, I think right here, Date Picker, they just do like months. Like you can set multiple months, but months is as far back as they go. But like in their case here, well, this is one way to do it. So you can do it. This is a drop down. So this will be like up to the developer to do this themselves, most likely. Like we're not going to do this. This is outside of the opinions that we want to have. So if you want to do it like this, you can do this. We will give you the stores to set, so you can set the year, set the month. So this would be something you could easily implement. But then, like for the, what brought this idea up was the like the pagination piece here, right? So being able to do multiple months, like number of months here. So I guess I would imagine this prop is probably so literally it's just an arbitrary number of months. It looks like it could be like 1,000 months. It's just a number. What do you guys think? Just months? Like, yeah, I would agree with that, Dirt Tim. It's accessible out of the box, but well, no, not leaving off years. I'm talking about like So when you render out, like what do we give to render out the calendar or the date picker, right? So right now I'm working on like the calendar primitive, essentially. It's going to kind of build off of, we can make it a date picker, like a date picker input where we set all that good stuff as well. But then it can also be used by itself as just a calendar if you want to render out a calendar on your page. And then obviously they'll both share the same calendar logic. So like if you wanted to do something like this on your page, right now we're just giving the tools for a month, and I'm working on, I guess, adding pagination to where we could do something, the hell is it? Where we could do like this. You could have multiple months being displayed and you know, cycle through them with different types of pagination. But if you wanted to do something like this, do we also do this? That's really the question. Yeah, I agree. I agree with that, Ajit. I do agree with that. I'm just trying to think about what the yeah, so any of like the selecting of the years and stuff, that's all going to be like up to the developer to do it. So you can see here, like we have buttons that will do it, but you can also programmatically just update the active date, which would update the month. So that's not like that's not too big of a deal. And yeah, like yeah. And definitely for the MVP, it doesn't. I guess my only concern though is that if it is going to be a thing, it will be a breaking change to introduce that feature. So I'd rather do it now because I 100% know it will be a breaking change if it's going to be requested. Yeah, that's exactly why we don't take opinions of that kind of stuff, Ajit. We're just going to let you do whatever you want. We'll give you the storage. You can update the stuff however you want to select stuff. We'll give you buttons, but yeah, because right now, again, just doing each dates as D. If we wanted to have, again, like the whole year, we would end up we'd have to nest them, like I mentioned. Because like it's not as simple as like say I don't know, think of another component that we could do this with, right? Like if we look at which one is it? Like a select item. So let's think about it like the select, and this is like componentizing the builders, right? So I'm trying to think about how someone might want to componentize this. If we don't provide that ability, like or I guess like a submenu might be a better way to think about this, right? Where the hell is it? So basically, you know, if you've used melt menus, you know you have to like actually call the create submenu that's returned from the create menu builder, or create drop-down builder, whatever. So we're able to like extend to an arbitrary number of submenus because each one that's rendered is going to instantiate or is going to create a new submenu, and so on and so forth. But with the months, like once we have, and then it's able to adapt with that. Like the menu was designed to be able to adapt and understand because we're returning that function, which allows you to create a submenu. So they're associated. They're both wrapped into the same top level function, top level builder. They share a lot of the same state, so on and so forth. But like with the date picker, if we want to do something like this, where we have navigation, we know how to switch, we can switch the dates. I guess I'm just trying to think about how that would be best set up. Hey, dear Tim, take care. Okay, so I guess right now, I think I might just leave it at months. Months, dates. Yeah, I guess you're right, Ben. I guess you might be right about that one. But then they're not, there's no like there's no shared state between those two. Unless they did it themselves, I guess. And updated the active date or the selected date based on that. I guess it'd be possible. I'm just trying to think here. I think that'd be okay. Okay. The hell am I doing in the menu? Okay, so this isn't going to work, I know, but just let me think about this for a second. So this is going to be actually months, right? I have months. Actually, yeah, this whole logic's going to be rewritten, I think. Okay, so let me just grasp what's happening, because I didn't write this part. So we're getting the current day of the month. I'm not sure why this is days and months. It's kind of throwing me off. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Okay, so it'd be like, I've seen that before, I think, when it just shows like 2023, 2024, 2025, and click on that, and then it goes into the month, that month, and then it goes into like the month view, and you pick the month, and then it brings the month, right? Or something like that. But just as far as this pagination goes, I think I still have to, yeah, I think that's good play. Okay, so right now this is how we're populating this. I'm trying to think about how we'd handle it for pagination. So So if we're going to display, if the number of months is 2, then we essentially need to do this twice. Yeah, so this is basically our creating a dates, right? That would be along inside of a month. So I don't know English well, but at Skolkovo Park in Moscow, present HTML constructor and Vue.js for designers. Hey, that's awesome, Max. Your English is great, but I just can't comprehend that. Okay, so let's just say here that we have like create month. Okay, so this creates a month. So I'm trying to break this down here. Okay, so rather than setting a dates array here, what we can do is we can return something. We can return the month. So we return an object which has the month, which is the and let's just actually make this like date. Whoops. Hate when I do that. Okay, so we're going to pass in a date. Doesn't have to be active date because we can manually set the active date and then active date plus 1 for the next one for each one of the different months. Month is going to be the date. And then dates would be the dates array. Right? So that way the date still stays as dates is. It's just we're able to bring it back into a okay. So in this case, we would say let's just set this to 1 for now so I can just verify we didn't break anything. If there's an active date, then we're going to set months or this is exactly what I was looking for. This will be able to consolidate some of this stuff. I'm not too sure if this shouldn't need to be a store. Yes, Agathon. No, we are. 100%. Basically, look at React Date Picker. Like, except for like the styles and like visual stuff, I guess you could say. The options they provide, we want to kind of be at that level where you can set the first day of the week. You can set, you know, that's the goal. Okay, so basically, we'll just start with this. So we'll just say months.set create month active date. Right. And actually I need to update the type of month here. Oh, wait. We did it. For this, if you want to do this, this will be an option. An option to show the last month dates. You see how we can see the last few days of the last month and the next ones. Yeah. Well, this isn't going to be a the final component. We're just messing around about here. Either way, these are primitives, builders. You can style them however you want. Okay, so that works, right? So in theory, for when we get rid of a bunch of this shit, and this is how you could essentially componentize a month. So this is essentially now a month, right? Component. What the hell did I just do? Okay, so now if I want to set multiple months, that's where things get fun. And I'm running out of time, but let me check something. Pick up my lady from the airport soon. Yeah, I got like 15 more minutes. All right. So let's try to do this. Okay, so we're able to specify a number of months. So in that effect, with the active date, okay, so we want the active date to be the first month, right? Now if they have 3 months, they can do 3 probably. Hello, everybody. Welcome. Welcome, Oscar. So, and then the next month is gonna be the next months are gonna be based off of this active date here. So we have the active date. If they have arbitrary number of months, so we'd say if in all reality, actually, I could just do if no browser. And then I don't need that. Okay, so then we could say if then we could use the so if the number of months are greater than 0 that they selected, then for each of those additional months, so number of months minus 1, I think. But we want to start at 1 probably. Yeah, I just don't want it to create, so we already have that first one. So if it's like 2, it's right here. Technically this would be creating 1, 2, 3 additional, well, 2 additional months. When really we only want to create 1. So maybe I just make the index a 1 for the beginning. I literally don't think I've ever done this. But I think this will make it easier for me. Because now I can just add a month to the active date. So I can just do and then I can just do yeah, next month. I think this will honestly work. Actually, no, this is not. Actually, yeah. Yeah, so d.add doesn't actually mutate. It won't actually change this. So we're assigning this to this plus 1, which will put us at the next month, and so on and so forth. Then we're updating the months. Okay, so I broke something. No, I didn't change it, but why is it even going through this loop? If number of months is greater than 1, I didn't change. I don't think I even set that prop anywhere, like as far as from a consumption perspective. I have it defaulted to 1. So it's like this should only be running if number of months is more than 1. Right? Oh, you guys. I'm an idiot. Ignore me, please. Okay, so we have... Yeah, I was just doing I'm an idiot. I always do that. So what I like to do is I do this. So I'll do if not... And this apparently is, I guess, more difficult to read for people. But this is how I've done it for a while. So I'm going to have 2 things. Rather than doing not this or not that, I just do if both of these aren't true, then return. But in this project, this is our way of doing business. I guess this is readable too, but okay. In the index date picker file here. Yeah. Okay, so let's just do 1 calendar for now because we're going to occupy all of our space, and we'll set number of months to true. I don't have this prop. That's just a UI issue on my end, why that's happening. So really this should be month dots we'll fix this up. We'll clean this up, okay? Just let me this is huge. It works. Look at that. And then obviously to add pagination, we would just have to, just like we're doing the prev month button here and prev year button, we would end up having like another thing. They would exist like outside of this. So for pagination, how are they doing it over here? Let's see. Yeah, so they have paged and we have multiple. So this would be like previous month, next month, and then this is page where it changes both of them. So then it goes to November, December, January, February. But can you do a range from January? Yeah, you can do a range from as far as you want. Or do you mean like, oh yeah, you mean like just like the range, regular range. And sorry for missing your, oh, I'm sorry, I'm looking at only top chat. I always it defaults to that, so I've missed messages and I feel like an asshole afterwards. Yeah, so the multiple calendar thing is in the works, but let me just show the range real quick. Whoops. Oh, you're gonna be annoying, aren't you? It's fine. Yeah, so if I had this is my range one right here. Yeah, so I had to reload. So if I select the 9th and I wanted to go to like next year, I can select all the way until from October 9th to October 2024. Or I can go to like back here, September 24th. So yeah, this is works throughout across years, which is nice. And you go through here, they're all selected, which is cool. Okay, so we're on the right track here. I know I didn't get as much done as I planned to. I feel like that's the case when you stream sometimes, but we decided on a direction, at least for now. We're going to limit it to months, and then if they want to do years, they can implement that themselves manually. Currently, our month thingamajig is working just fine. We can render multiple months. As you can see, they're starting to protrude off the page, but you can see here, these are still the same picker. So like the same, like this one's canceling out this one's single select, right? Which is good. So in theory, you could render out an entire year and just be able to select a single date. And of course, you could update the year to be whatever you want using that active date. And it's time for me to end the stream today, as bad as I want to keep working on this and get the pagination piece done. That'll be the topic of the next stream. Thank you all for hanging out today. I know it's short. Yeah, good seeing you too, man. I'll probably stream tomorrow. Or tomorrow or sometime this weekend. I'm trying to like build this one on stream only, just to kind of see how it goes. So I'm not doing anything off stream. At least I'm gonna try not to. I may. You guys are actually helping me more than you realize, because I don't have to wait until after a feature's released to hear about the problems with it. So yeah, thank you everybody. Appreciate you all. See you next time.